So in today's show, we are going to talk about the overwhelm feeling in our own business. Welcome to the Time Domination Show. I am your host, James Boardman. Wow, this is the first show that I'm doing for this brand. I normally run the Man Coach, but I'm looking forward to helping business owners become much more effective with their time and their energy in their own business and getting the balance right and productivity levels right. And I'll be talking to nobody because nobody's following the page right now. But we've got to start the journey somewhere, right? So listen, I want to talk about overwhelm. And I've just come off the back of a 4-day mastermind that I'm a part of. And we were collecting ideas and thoughts about things that we need to do for our businesses. And some of the group have more to do than others. We all have a lot to do, but some have more than others, you know, depending on what levels we're at. And that's just the way that we are. It's like a martial arts, right? Some are white belts, some are blue belts, some are brown belts until we find that black belt level. And it can be overwhelming, the thought of how do I get from a white belt to a black belt? When really what we should be thinking is how can I just get from a white belt to the blue belt, which is the next level up? And sometimes we can overthink the situation. Sometimes we can overwhelm ourselves with how am I going to do that? But how does that link to that? And then how do I link that to that? And suddenly you're spiraling out of control with overthinking. And overthinking causes that overwhelm. And then suddenly it feels like our brain is completely overspilling. So I think if ever we get to that point emotionally, mentally, in our own business, then what we have to do is almost what I would call is a reset. And that reset is spending maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, however long we need to do that individually to be able to make sense of everything that we're overthinking, making sense of the overwhelm. So we need to be able to put that down on paper. And I think there's no better way than brain dumping our way out of things to create a plan, an action plan, a vision, a mission. And I always like to think about remembering the mission, okay, and remembering why we're doing what we're doing and why we started the business in the first place. So when we come down to managing that overwhelm, I think it's really a case of putting down on paper the things that are going through your head. Being able to write down everything that you're thinking so you can visually see it rather than trying to keep remembering it. And I think that's half of the problem with the overwhelm, right? We try to think too much. We've got these spiraling thoughts riling out of control in our brain. So when we put it down, we can visually see it. And then what we can do is prioritize some of the things that need to happen to move the needle closer to where we want it to be, to move the mission forwards rather than it being stale. And I do that in a way of just grabbing a highlighter and highlighting the immediate actions that need to take place. So things that are going to bring you revenue for your business, things that are going to allow you more time and energy, things that are going to take the pressure off your shoulders, things that are going to allow you more flexibility and balance in your life so that you can have some form of work-life balance. And just a simple exercise is something that will really help you make sense of everything that's going through your head. It will almost create a list of action plans that need to happen as well, right? So going from a mind that is spiraling out of control and overthinking to suddenly having 3 or 4 things that we need to achieve over the next 4 to 5 weeks suddenly creates focus. It suddenly creates direction of travel that you need to head. It suddenly creates outcomes that need to be achieved, and it suddenly creates stepping stones. So I would call these small wins. And following a series of small wins will then lead to a big win. Okay, we can't just achieve the big win straight off the blocks. It's like doing a 100-meter sprint without warming up or loosening up. Just rocking up to the starting block, boom, going. You're just going to injure yourself. And if you try and do that in your business, you're just going to blow out. So we need to be able to look at these stepping stones. So if you think about the process that we've gone through, we feel very overwhelmed, we are overthinking, to brain dumping, to prioritizing, to creating a mission, to creating micro steps, to create the big win. And now suddenly we have a directional path, we feel like we have more control, we feel like we have more consistency, and we have more clarity, the 3 C's. And I feel that if we have all of those 3 C's, those 3 ingredients, that allows us to move forwards in the right direction without feeling overwhelmed, with having clear, concise idea about the direction that we're heading. So you suddenly turn from that overwhelmed, stressed out, frustrated entrepreneur to becoming a clear, concise entrepreneur who knows where he's going with consistency, control and clarity. Guys, I hope that helps. If you ever come back and watch this video, I'd love you to comment down below. I'm going to be bringing a whole load of traffic this way, so to help many, many entrepreneurs, men and women, really take charge of this type of situation to be much more effective in their business. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day, and I'll catch you soon.